Hi everyone, it's Megan from SMB TV, and today I am interviewing Kat Rattray from Cat and Fox. Kat is an illustrator, and you can see from her background one of her drawings. So I think this interview is going to be a lot of fun. Hi Kat, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, hello. Lovely to meet you, Megan. And
Yes.
thank you for inviting me on here.
No, I think it's fantastic. All right, so the way we always start this is, can you give us your background, what you were doing? Obviously, you're an amazing illustrator, but how did you kind of take that and lead that into a business?
Whoa, it's a big story. Okay, I'll try and snapshot it.
Yeah.
Always a drawer, love drawing. I was a very ADHD child. Back in the 70s, that was never known as ADHD. It was hyperactivity disorder. My parents didn't know how to calm me, but they understood that when I coloured in and drew, that was a great way to shut me up. So I was encouraged with drawing all through school, right through to art college. I actually trained as an interior architect, interior designer, and became an educator once I moved to Australia. I'm born in England. When I moved to Australia at 25, I worked for Wodonga TAFE, and I coordinated the courses there for 12 years in interior design, teaching design and visual arts. And during that time, I started to revisit drawing. How I revisited drawing, because interior design, you spend a lot of time shopping, you don't really draw, but I was always working in the creative arts. When my sick into the business, in 2010, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer in the UK. He had a stroke 3 years prior, and meant that my mum had to work, and so I was invited in to go to the hospital with him, actually even to find out that he was dying, which was really hard.
Wow.
And my job was to basically be with him, and it was very difficult, because how do you communicate with someone? I wanted to make him smile, and he took so much joy when I was younger, and he was probably my main encourager of drawing. And I took a little pen, I had a biro and a piece of paper, and we were actually in the chemo ward. Dad didn't have chemo, he was getting fluids, but there were chemo patients around, and this is in London. And I mean, I didn't know what to do. And I handed him a piece of paper, because he used to be able to draw. And I said, "Hey, Dad, why don't you do a drawing?" And he looked at me and he said, you draw. And oh my God, oh yeah, I wonder if I can draw anymore. It had been like 10 years I hadn't drawn. So I started to draw. I had to draw positive things. So I tell the story that I saw a balloon floating past the window of the hospital. And that's without a lie. It wasn't like It from the horror movie, but it was a balloon. So I started to just draw balloons because they were easy. And it came back to me. It was like a light switched on, and I drew balloons, and then I gave him the picture of the balloons, and he smiled. And he was so proud, he showed all the other people.
Oh, bless.
And so I started to just draw airplanes, leaves, anything. And I started to and I realized, oh my God, you've never lost that skill of drawing, which was my main skill. And I started to hand these scraps of pieces of paper to the people in the chemo ward. And every time I handed them a drawing, they smiled. And so the following 4 weeks I was with him, he would sit watching, Star Trek on TV, or and I didn't know what to do. So I went down the local art shop, and I spent every single day while Mum was at work drawing. And I would be drawing exactly that: kites, balloons, adding colour, watercolour, what I could do. And I kept showing them to Dad. And then I just got the point that I was gifting them to people left, right and centre. And the feedback was phenomenal. But it was helping me get through every day. It was negating a way for me to be with Dad, watching him smile on at me. And how did that step into a business? Well,
but it was helping you, it was therapeutic to you, but also everyone who was receiving them as well. That's brilliant.
That's the trigger. Yeah. So Dad completely, I think he really enjoyed every minute. I enjoyed the bonding with him. I realized when he did die, because I kept drawing through those last stages, I have not stopped drawing since that moment.
Wow.
I mean, I've had periods of like a few months where I haven't drawn and things, So I had a daughter I got pregnant with my final child, and she never really has experienced her mother never working, because I have two older children, a lot older.
I know that.
And
when
she was 4 months old, she got strapped to my front belly, and I realized that people were asking me to do drawings for their children. So I decided to create the ABC, and I sold them at markets and called the business Doodlebugs. And that was my first entrepreneurial experience, apart from when I was an interior designer. And I realized people loved my drawings. And I wanted suddenly to be a children's book illustrator. And I thought, do I go back to college? What do I do? And I just created opportunities for myself. I discovered a really good illustrator. Her books I love lived in Melbourne. So I reached out to her and got her to come down to Wodonga, where we lived in country Victoria. And she ran a workshop and became my mentor, and told me,
it's wonderful.
you have an ability, you should follow this. And this was all while I was still working at TAFE. And Kat and Fox came about basically in 2015. I got to the point where I wanted to take some long service leave out of my job. I wasn't happy. I was actually being bullied in the job. It was a horrible situation. Our whole team were struggling, and I wanted out of the job, and I wanted anything to get out of that job. And so I jumped on a plane to the UK, and again spent time with my mum, sat in John Lewis and looked around and went, oh my God, Quentin Blake's illustrations are on Doona covers. And I was so excited. So I went home, and with a friend of mine, we wrote a children's book called Bird, Boy and Wren, which I illustrated. And I didn't stop there. I took the illustrations and I started to design a whole bed linen range.
Wow.
Yeah. And I jumped it. I'm not saying that this was a major success. This was actually really unplanned. It was very off the cuff. It was like a bull in a china shop. I kept going. I was over in China. I was finding manufacturers. I was suddenly exhibiting at Life and Style. I won an award, the best interior product for 2017 with Life and Style. We were part of the block. I had people working. It grew.
Yeah, wow.
I distributed all over Australia, and then I absolutely hated it because I wasn't creating anymore. I was just selling.
Administrating,
and I was in a panic every day. And I had to get rid of all this stock, and I signed a contract for a ridiculous amount of stock, and which my story was I ended up burnt out.
Yep.
So that's how it started. I don't want to go into it. But the name Kat and Fox is my maiden name, Catherine Fox. So
that's brilliant. I really love it. It's just such a great name.
Well, nod to my dad, Fox, and I like the idea that it reminds me of an English pub sign, the Cat and Fox.
It's very much. Yes, very much. It's just brilliant. So take me back maybe 6 months ago for Kat and Fox, when, COVID wasn't even on the horizon. What did the business look like for you then?
Well, so going back a bit further, after the Doona cover debacle, and I eventually ended up very sick, and I pivoted my business and came back as a service business. So 6 months ago, I was actually doing incredibly well. I'd had rebuilt my business, and I had 2 publishers, and I was publishing for authors who were self-publishing, publishing for publishers on projects, and I was creating customized characters for individuals, like families, gifts, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Very, very, very busy, and I this time had got my head around business. So I started to understand how to manage accounts. I was using Profit First. The business was growing very slowly, but it was growing, and I was being recognized. And 6 months ago, the only quandary I had was, can I do any more growth with this, because I'm so busy? And in the back of my head, it was like, how do I create something automated to go with it? And I could never find the time to do anything. Sorry, coughing.
No, go for it. So, okay. So, and I think that's, this isn't what this show's about, but I'd love to revisit that, because it's such a common thing when somebody starts by selling their service. Like, how do you expand? How do you recreate that? Because if you're not actually illustrating, the income's not coming in.
And the business dies because I'm the only person in the business.
Yep.
There's no exit, get out, shut down thing. And it actually started to really bother me because I was literally illustrating into the middle of the night to get jobs done. And I can only earn the money by doing more hours. And it just is adding to stress. Yeah.
Okay, so COVID hits. What happens?
So COVID hits and my main publisher rings me and says, I'm really sorry, Catherine, we're going to have to cancel your books because we are not getting any orders from schools and we're just going to have to go with the ones we've started. We do love you, Catherine, and we want you back.
But
you're going to come back, they are a great publishing house, Larrikin House. But I was really hit hard by that. And then I had actually got lined up for self-publishing projects to work on. And, you know, one of them was for a celebrity, which I can't sort of say, but everything got cancelled. Everything. Like, I'd sent out all these really professional looking proposals, decline. So I had 3 or 4 decline. And that would have taken me up to a really nice figure for the end of the year. And I would have like tripled my income. Didn't happen. How did it affect me? I'm going to be really blunt and really honest here. I actually suffer from bipolar type 2. So I suffer from anxiety and it's not about that, but creative people tend to be that person. So I fell in a horrible heap of depression for 2 weeks. I thought to myself, you know, Catherine, it's okay. It's just you. Hibernate the business. You know what you do. You just go back to the bare bones. Just cut back all your money and your subscriptions and, you know, just put a post up every so often. You don't have to do anything. Have a holiday. That's where my brain went. Literally, I went from disaster to, oh, maybe I can have some time off. And that's how, what my initial thing was.
Sure. So you kind of, I don't think, I've spoken to a lot of people now, like for these interviews and just offline, and I think that's so common. I think everyone, like however it manifested for them, everyone had that moment of, oh my goodness, now what? And take breaths and hide away a little bit and then reassess from there. So obviously you have reassessed. And how did that happen? And
how did it happen? I had to finish off jobs anyway, so I didn't actually go on a complete hiatus. So I had some clients that were still continuing, and I'm trying to think what the pivotal moment was, but it was someone having a dialogue with me and saying, you know, you're a really great drawing teacher and you illustrate children's books and you wanted to do workshops in schools and you did talk about videos and you did talk. This is someone who was at this Osmum network I'm in, and I did a pitch at their big conference about the fact that I was going to start Kat's Academy for illustrators, not for kids.
Okay.
And this person rings me and says, don't you think, because I was in tears, come on, I know. She said, why, you know, my daughter is about 9. She'd love to see what you can teach her. I mean, she loves your drawings. And I can't remember the point, but I thought, oh God, I've got nothing else to do. Why don't I just keep myself present on social media and offer some free drawing classes for kids? I had no idea how I was going to do it, but the day before I decided, I saw how someone else had done it. I filmed my drawing with my, you know, my thing from Aldi, my stand and my phone, and I came up with an Easter bunny because it was Easter, and I just filmed myself drawing it. I realized you could use Zoom as a platform. I got 130 kids for the free.
Wow.
And I ran that class, and I didn't know, I mean, I've got experience as a teacher and I've got experience working with kids. I didn't really know where it was going to go. I just thought, why don't I teach them how to do an Easter bunny? You know, let's give them something for Easter. I'll feel like I've done something completely free. And the feedback I got was phenomenal. Oh, are you going to do another one? Oh my God, my little daughter Georgina loved it. I thought, oh God, no, that was just exhausting. I enjoyed every minute of it. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh, okay, now half an hour only. I thought, oh, okay, yeah, do another one. Yeah, do another free one for you. I'll just do a couple of frees during COVID. Just a couple of frees. And next one was, I think it was Minky Monkey, which is one of my characters, my actual character in the book. And they all wanted to do it. So this time the numbers dropped to about 40. That was okay. It was still a lot. And I was free though. And I sort of ran a sort of competition, and that went well again. Great feedback. And I had loads of mums saying, you know, you should set this up properly. Why don't I would pay for my daughter to do your classes because you really connect with them and they seem to get really excited. Well, I've only done 2. So the next one I did, I charged for, and I decided to make it incredibly cheap. I called it my COVID special of $4.95, and I had 39 people again for that one. And that was also linked in with a business called Pineapple Media Marketing and Publishing. And they've got a pineapple character. I designed them a character in the class, and they basically gave away a voucher for the kids, and they went into a draw to win the voucher.
Oh, gorgeous.
Promoting their business. That went incredibly well. Yeah. And then it just continued from there. I started a membership, and that's where I'm at now. It's sort of gone from, oh, this is just during COVID to, okay, maybe I should run with this. Maybe I should.
And are you enjoying it? Oh, no, you did enjoy it. Is it less shattering now that you kind of are in the swing of it and you've got some kind of structure around it?
Yeah. There still needs to be a lot more tweaking with structure. I mean, my obstacles now are, I'm running it through, I mean, my obstacles have really been, why am I using a CRM? Should I be using an email, you know, an email provider? Should I, on my website, have a sort of another window, like a page they go to, so they get an assortment of videos? At the moment, you join, you're a member, you get a weekly email that invites you to the live and gives you access to the tutorial videos, and then I put extra videos in that other people don't get. So that's the questions I've come to now, and I think that's what it's like, because Kat's Art Club alone feels like a completely different business to Kat and Fox. So
yeah, sure. Well,
I'm still illustrating books, so I'm still illustrating for people and creating characters.
So it's kind of like it's the same target audience, but different clients. So, you know, you illustrate for children and you're doing this for children.
For children, but the children and the parents weren't paying me to do the work. So,
no, that's what I'm saying. So the clients were the publishing house
and adult authors.
And then, No, I just think I sent my daughter along yesterday. So she...
Oh, to the class?
Yeah.
Did she get in?
Yeah. I wasn't here when she did it, but just going back to your story, we adopted her and she comes from a trauma background, and art is her escape as well. So that's what I mean.
I saw her on there.
Yeah,
I saw her on there. She didn't speak. I tried to
no, that would probably be right. So I mean, she's older, but I thought it's just a great thing for her to try because it's something that she's good at. And
how did she find it? A bit young or okay?
No, I just, she enjoyed it, and I said, would you want to do it again? And she said yes. So, you know, I know she's older than your group, but
how old is she?
She's about to turn 14.
Yeah, I do have a couple of 11, 12-year-olds. And let her know that that's where I am actually thinking about running classes specifically for that tween teen age.
Yes, very much into anime at the moment. So, but it's just it's a great thing to be able to encourage, because that is kind of a really safe place for her mind and something that she can do. So, yeah, no, it's fabulous.
And I talked about that's probably these classes have given my business so much more worth, because I'm all about mental wellness, and I think back to being 6 years old and jumping home from school and handing my parents the drawing I'd done that the teacher had told me was really good, and they put it on the fridge. They never crushed it. They always celebrated, and they'd show it to their friends. And that's why art became my power, my superpower, because you encourage anything in a child, they will rise to it. And I don't actually believe we are. There are certain people born with super talents. I believe from a very young age, a child will lean towards something because of that feeling of, I can do this. So you can control it from a very young age if you want with a child's very young age.
Yeah, well, I just see that with all the chaos in her life. This is the one thing that she's consistently kind of gone back to. So
you just got to promote it, even taking it to art exhibitions, even buying pens, paper.
Oh yeah, no, we own a supply store just about with with all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so you've kind of just touched on it then, saying you could expand your academy side. Is that kind of your plans, kind of we're in the throes of COVID, you're still waiting for publishers to get back into normality? And
well, this is the thing, it's thrown my brain around, because I think my values have changed, and my ideal, I had to think about what my ideal was, which I never thought. And my ideal would be that 2 days a week I could throw into Kat's Academy, or the Kat's Art Club, which maybe I'd be running 2 or 3 different types of classes, even one for adults, one for little kids, one for medium kids, just all about just drawing, which is nice, not having to do the whole art thing.
Pure joy.
And then the other 3 days a week, I will work on illustration projects and enter and maybe do my own books, maybe win awards. The two together would be an amazing marriage. But I also have to recognize that I can't work ridiculously long hours either. I've worked out during COVID, I've just about got 5 to 6 hours a day, because I also had to stop, see children, deal with children, schooling.
Yep.
And it slowed. I had to ring clients, and I've had to extend deadlines, even though I need money. I'm lucky I've just got the JobKeeper. That will help me for a bit, so I can just step back a little bit. Takes the pressure off.
Have you thought about anything, like I know that your art class is alive, and that's just incredible. Have you thought about anything that you could do, like just thinking of other businesses that I've spoken to, instructional art classes, but that are recorded, or like a course where you take them through steps?
That's I think every single class has a pre-recorded tutorial video. So those videos I make, I pre-record, and I actually put them into my editing suite, and I do a voiceover, and I put all the graphics in. And the one I use it in the class, which is very plain, but I then upload the really posh ones into YouTube, and they are then sent to the members. Anyone who gets a membership of $50 for 3 months, which I've kept quite cheap, they get weekly, they get the videos to follow, they can practice. But yeah, that's a really good one. I think what I'm looking for, if I was to say what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for the right mentor, someone who has done something similar to me, and is successful at it, and has made it automated, and has taken the pressure away and taken the busy away, but kept the enjoyment. And I've got to find that right person. I am part of network groups. I even coordinate NEBA for my area, but I don't know how to ask that right question. That's the weird thing.
I think maybe you could look at it a little bit differently, in that course creation, maybe you could just try and find, like, the way I look at mentorship is that it doesn't have to be the exact niche that you're looking for.
Okay.
Because the mentor is going to look at things that are outside of your headspace, and that's what you want. You're good at what you're good at. If you can if you can meet someone who, either a holistic business mentor or a specific, it could be a course creation, someone who has done course creation as well. But I wouldn't get hung up on that it had to replicate your exact niche, because you know
Oh,
how to draw,
yeah.
but you mightn't know how to put a course together, or you
I don't
mightn't know.
yeah, and it's almost like an accountability partner. And I've thought about, I've had business coaches.
Yep.
It would be great to sort of be able to work with someone to that next level and streamline. So I don't have to spend so much time working in it, but it will be a lot of time. I'm happy to put the time in at the beginning. So that's I suppose that's the next step for me, and that's going forward with through the COVID situation, is how do I actually grow this and make this so it doesn't become a stress, but it's something I can really enjoy and nurture. And the other thing I did do, though, is I applied for a grant through Regional Arts Victoria that was released for keeping creative businesses sustainable. Okay. And I haven't heard from that yet. That's $5,000, and it's not a heap, but it will mean that I can perhaps get the right business coach, or perhaps spend on the right platforms and a technical side of the business, which is a really hard one for me.
Yep. No, that's fantastic. All right. So this is a question that I ask everyone. If you are speaking to someone who'd love to start their own business, what advice do you have for them?
I would say get your ducks in a row before jumping in feet first. So my experience that I jumped in feet first, I'm very reactional. In hindsight, in some ways that's good, because you get in there. But if you have an inkling that you want your own business, and you have an inkling of an idea, there's the niche scheme, there's Cert 4 in business studies, there's mentorships, there's programs. Actually give your, I've been I work with another illustrator who is starting a mentorship program for illustrators. And she had a discussion with me, and she's very wise. She said, I am basically researching and making sure that I have all the steps in place, and then I'm just going to go for it. And I really love the way she said that, because she said, I know it will work, but I don't want to jump in feet first. And I said, well, do you know what? When you jump in feet first, things happen, but you can drown at the same time, and you want to prevent that. Create a roadmap and follow that roadmap. It may change as you go. Be willing to be flexible as well.
I agree.
Anyway,
that's brilliant.
So that's my advice to a new business. Enjoy networking groups.
Well, thank you. I just think this has been really fun. I think when people are watching this, they're going to enjoy your illustration at the back and your energy. It's really contagious. Okay, there you go.
That's called Warrigal, that will be out next year.
Oh, brilliant. Well, obviously I will be putting all your social media links and your website down so people can go and have a look. And if anyone's got children, I recommend the art club, because I know that our daughter enjoyed it, and we'll be coming back. So
we now call it the after school art club. So it's at 4:30 on Wednesdays is the live class, and it's basically it's meant to be for kids from 5 till 9, but we have kids of 2, and we have teenagers who pop in. So I think it's just fun characters that make people laugh. So it suits, and I'm a bit wacky too. I'm a bit like, I like to sort of equate myself to a play school presenter, sometimes a bit wacky do and funny. So.
And how long has that show been going?
But yes.
There's something in that.
Yes. It's all about laughter. And if the kids come off, they're happy, the parents are happy, and then they can see their little kids are getting excited. It keeps you in business, and it makes you feel happy.
Win-win-win.
Win-win-win. That's what you want. And that's why I found this.
It's brilliant. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.